Kamusta po sa inyo lahat diyan? Ito po si Art. Ang pag-uusapan po natin ay itong China versus Taiwan. Ito mangyayaring war doon na kung pag ito ay nag-umpisa, ay talagang madadamay tayo sa Pilipinas. Hindi lang kung ang Pilipinas, kundi ang buong mundo. You know, may maraming mamamatay, not because of maybe hindi sa bala, kundi sa gutom. Biro mo yung mga product na maantala, yung mga supply na pangangailangan ng bawat bansa, yung kahit yung pangangailangan natin, yung mga yung gas, yung oil, tataas, lahat ng mga bilihin. Kaya ang ibig ko sabihin ay hindi lang ang Pilipinas sa madadamay dito. At itong ang mahirap dito sa nangyayaring ito is a man-made. Yun ang mahirap. Ginawa ng tao. Ginawa ang magkadahilanan nito ang mga Democrat nung mahalal. Si Biden, kaya wala nang pag-iisip. Tinuturo na lang sa kanya ang gagawin na hanggang sa ngayon, hindi namin alam kung sino nagdidikta sa kanya at kung sino talaga nagpapatakbo ng Amerika. Walang nakakaalam dahil it's so fast for 2 years, bumagsak ang Amerika. Kaya ito ang sinasabi ko ito yung man-made. Ito yung nag-umpisa noong mag-withdraw diyan sa Afghanistan. Nakita ang kahinaan ng administrasyon na Biden na ito, na ang pag-withdraw nila, ang dami pang namatay. Samantalang aalis na lang, pauwi na. Kaya nga naiwanan pa rin nila $1 billion of war equipment doon sa Afghanistan. Panoodin po natin ito. Afghanistan na ito at ipaliliwanag ko sa inyo kung bakit dito nag-umpisa ang lahat ng mga kaguluhang nangyayari ngayon sa mundong ito.
Thank you for calling this extraordinarily important hearing. Sergeant Vargas Andrews, in early September of 2021, a National Security Council spokesperson characterized the Taliban as acting business-like and professional. And in your testimony, obviously, we just heard it. You talked about how countless Afghans were murdered by the Taliban 155 yards in front of our position, day and night, and that the Taliban would routinely murder people under our observation at their checkpoint. We communicated the atrocities to our chain of command and our intel assets, but nothing came of it. Where are our top leaders? You know, have any of us heard President Biden and Vice President?
Ito, kaya pakikita ko na sa inyo kung anong ginagawa talaga ni na Biden, ni Kamala Harris, Blinken, at saka yung mga iba pa na hindi ko nahahabaan ito, pero kung itong mga ito parang hindi nila serious sa nangyayari ngayon, na hindi sila nag-aalala sa mangyayaring itong war na sa China between Taiwan at saka yung dinadala mga I know it's good for the Philippines na nagkakaroon ng mga war equipment diyan, nagbubukas ng maraming bases para din niya sa mayroon tayong panlaban. Pero sa mga ginagawa ngayon ng mga opisyal na ito, lalo na si Biden, ay baka talagang matuloy itong war na ito. Hindi nila, parang sa mga ginagawa nila ngayon, parang hindi nila iniisip ang mga mangyayaring ito. Panoodin po natin sila pagkatapos niya, susunod na yung
Harris, at the State of the Union or at any other venue, talk and convey to those left behind, both the Americans and our allies, you're not forgotten. And to say we will not let up in terms of our pursuit.
Bob and Doug returned to the Kennedy Space Center. They suited up, they waved to their families, and they rode an elevator up nearly 20 stories. They strapped in to their seats and waited as the tanks beneath them filled with tens of thousands of gallons of fuel. And then they launched. Yeah, they did.
Look, if we don't move on the climate crisis, we're going to see the North Pole, as the kids would say. We're going to see those glaciers melting.
Ang kanilang inaasikaso itong mga ganitong bagay. If we don't move on climate crisis, we're gonna see, the North Pole, as the kids would say, melting. Mga bata ang pinaniniwalaan dito sa stupid crisis crap na ito na ginagawa dito sa Amerika. Dito nalulugi ngayon ng Amerika, kaya nagkaroon ng mga laming inflation. Ito mga ganitong kabang-awan ng gobyerno ngayon ang ginagawa dito. Pero ituloy po natin ito. Katulad niyan, the location of massive amount of cocaine and sex paid for the stolen money. Yung sa mga drug lord lang, ito mga sinasabi niya North Pole. Kaya hindi na niya alam ang nangyayari. Hindi niya alam ang kanyang mga sinasabi. Pero ituloy pa natin ito kung anong ginagawa ni Anthony Blinken.
In Argentina, Alba Ruada, is a transgender woman who was kicked out of classrooms, barred for sitting for exams, refused job opportunities, subjected to violence, and rejected by her family. But in the face of these challenges,
This is supposedly a International Women Award. Pero ang inawardan ng Amerika ay bakla, lalaki. Hindi naman women. Ganon nangyayari ngayon sa kabang-awan ng gobyerno ngayon dito. Ito mga ginagawa nila, ang mga women dito, hindi na nila tinutulungan. Even all of those sport. Pero iba yung, ipakikita ko yung mga nangyayari niya. Pero sa ngayon, atin muna pong panoodin ito.
You've had to do it kind of like a private sector initiative at great risk to yourselves, and you might want to speak to those risks. And let me just say also, past is often prologue. We know that, and I read People's Daily and Global Times every day, and they have one editorial after the other telling the people of Taiwan right now, look at what Biden did in this egregiously flawed exodus to the people of Taiwan.
Yan ang ibig sabihin doon sa, meron mga, yung magazine doon lumalabas, yung mga newspaper doon lumalabas na may ano doon na sinasabi, yung Biden did aggressive flood exodus, yung kapabayaan na ginawa ni Biden doon sa Taiwan, dito sa Afghanistan, ay baka magaya tayo sa Taiwan. Pero, just continue.
America will not have your back.
At yun na sinabi, kaya ngayon ang Taiwan hindi na nagtitiwala sa Amerika. Kaya sabi, America will not have your back. Yun ang isinusulat ngayon sa kanilang daily news. Alright, diretso.
You know, it's important that we always have the back of our friends and allies. These are people who bled with you, lost their lives with you. So if you could speak to any of those issues, I would appreciate it. But, you know, who's the one person who got held to account? An officer who went on social media criticizing the exodus.
Ibig sabihin, yan ang pinaliliwanag ko sa inyo ngayon na baka hindi ganyan, baka mangyari ito sa Amerika, sa Pilipinas, na ito si Biden na ito, kung ano nangyari sa Afghanistan, ay baka iwanan din ang Pilipinas kapag nag-umpisa na ang war between China and Taiwan. Mahirap na. Kaya kumari si BBM Marcos, tawagan niya at mag-ano siya, itanong talaga niya kung igagaranti talaga ng Amerika na matulungan ng Pilipinas hanggang sa wakas. Ay mahirap yung pag nasa kalahating digmaan ay aalis na diyan, may iwanan na kayo. Ay mahirap na. Kailangan talagang magkaroon ng diskusyon ito diyan between Philippines and maganda na dyan ng mga equipment. You know, still it will help us, talagang makaka-help din yan sa Pilipinas. Pero tuloy po naman ito.
I am asking about this lack, you know, the two sets of information that went out. People telling us that they were professional, that they're acting, you know, with decorum, certainly and businesslike. When you were seeing a completely opposite phenomenon right in front of you, people getting killed at their checkpoints, and you saw it firsthand.
I requested engagement authority while my team leader was ready on the M110 semi-automatic sniper system. The response, leadership did not have the engagement authority for us. Do not engage. I requested for the battalion commander, Lieutenant Colonel Brad Whited, to come to the tower to see what we did. While we waited for him, psychological operations individuals came to our tower immediately and confirmed the suspect met the suicide bomber description. He eventually arrived and we showed him our evidence, the photos we had of the two men. We reassured him of the ease of fire on the suicide bomber. Pointedly, we asked him for engagement authority and permission. We asked him if we could shoot. Our battalion commander said, and I quote, "I don't know," end quote.
They are in the middle of yung pag-withdraw doon, and nakita nila yung dalawang bomber na nasa katawan nila. Pero tuloy natin.
Myself and my team leader asked very harshly, well, who does? Because this is your responsibility, sir.
See, they don't even know who's gonna put the order to shoot these people. It's already ready to shoot them. But the only thing they're waiting, yung kanilang inaantay talaga ay mabigyan ng permission nitong mga gagong mga matataas na ito na Blinken or either Lloyd Austin or Mark Milley or even the more is the president. Yun ang inaantay nila. Pero ito.
He again replied he did not know but would find out.
They don't know.
We received no update and never got our answer.
There. No
Eventually,
answer.
the individual disappeared. To this day, we believe he was a suicide bomber. We made everyone on the ground aware. Operations had briefly halted, but then started again. Plain and simple, we were ignored. Our expertise was disregarded. No one was held accountable for our safety. About 1730, Staff Sergeant Darren Hoover, friend and mentor, came to get me from the tower to go help find an Afghan interpreter in the crowd.
Yan ang kapabayaan. Hindi nila alam ang gagawin. Nawala tuloy yung taong may dalang bomba sa katawan. Yan ang nangyari. Tama yung kapabayaan ng administrasyon na ito, ng kababayaan
We
nila
found the
Biden.
interpreter and his brother, born with American passports. They told us of 5 family members still in the canal. I stayed there waiting for the family members standing against a 2-foot canal wall. 10 minutes passed. Then a flash and a massive wave of pressure. I'm thrown 12 feet onto the ground, but instantly knew what had happened. I opened my eyes to Marines dead or unconscious lying around me.
Ayun, sumabog na yung bomba. Naando sila, dumais na pala sa kanila. Nawala sa kanilang paningin. Nasa halip na inutusan na barilin na, ayan na nangyari. Naputo lang kamay ng taong ito. Naputo lang pa, pati yung kalahati. Ganyang kawawalang hiya ang mga Democrat. Ngayong ginagawa dito. Kaya naghihirap.
A crowd of hundreds immediately vanished in front of me, and my body was catastrophically wounded with 100 to 150 ball bearings
There you go.
now in it. Almost immediately, we started taking fire from the neighborhood, and I saw how injured I was with my right arm, completely shredded and unusable.
There. See?
I saw my lower abdomen soaked in blood. I crawled backwards 7 feet.
Tingnan mo kaya ang Democrat yan, si Mr. Mix na yan, yung itim na naka-brown na suit, tamo patulog-tulog lang, hindi nakikinig sa pagsasalaysay ng taong ito, ng army na ito. Talagang walang puso ito mga Democrat na ito. Pero ituloy natin,
Roughly 7 feet because I thought I was still in harm's way.
patulog-tulog lang.
My body was overwhelmed from the trauma of the blast. My abdomen had been ripped open.
There you go,
Every inch
see?
of my exposed body, except for my face, took ball bearings.
Yan ay sa kapabayaan ng administrasyon, ng gobyerno, ng
I tried to get up,
mga
but could
Democrat.
not. Laying there for a few minutes, I started to lose consciousness. When I heard Chaz, my team leader, screaming my name as he ran to me. His voice calling to me kept me awake.
Tingnan mo kaya na. Hindi, nahihirapan din ng tao. Sa mga pangyayaring ito, naputol yung kamay niya at kung ano pa. Ganyan ka walang hiya ang mga Democrat. Ganyan kapabaya sila. Kaya nagkaroon ng war.
When he got to me, he dragged me to safety and immediately started triaging me, tying tourniquets on my limbs and doing anything he could to stop the bleeding and start plugging wounds with the help of the other Marines. I was awake through most of it, screaming, moaning, and cursing. I ask you to please ask me about getting shot at the tower in Abbey Gate and how no one wanted my report post-blast. Even NCIS and the FBI failed to interview me. Ask me to elaborate on my ordeal post-blast, and ask me about this one little girl and her family that I reunited. Our military members and veterans deserve our best because that is what we give to America. The withdrawal was a catastrophe in my opinion, and there was an inexcusable lack of accountability and negligence. The 11 Marines, 1 sailor, and 1 soldier that were murdered that day have not been answered for. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Tingnan mo yun ang ginawa nila. Kung inanswer nga naman yung call, di sana hindi namatay pati yung 11 na mga Marine pa, ang iba pa. Ganyan kababaya ang administrasyon ngayon dito sa Amerika. Ito sina Biden na ito. Ang mga Democrat talagang walang kwenta sa kanila ang tao. Ganyan sila. Kaya sinasabi ko lang dito, pinakita ko ito sa inyo para yung magkaroon ng assurance ang Pilipinas sa Amerika na dinalan dyan yung mga iba pang work equipment at saka naglagay ng mga bases kung saan diyan ay sana ay matawagan uli ni BBM Marcos Jr. na si Biden at makausap niya na kung dapat magkaroon ng assurance ang mga kung sakaling may mangyaring war dito between China and Taiwan. Hanggang dito na po lamang. Marami pa akong ipakikita sa inyo. Hindi ko lang mailagay dito yung lahat. Pero magagawa ko ng mga video pa na kabang-awang nangyayari dito sa Amerika. Maraming pong salamat.